Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Unfiltered commentary. And that's your truth, the real truth. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for your support. Welcome back. I saw this on Timcast, one of his episodes, and I thought it was worth exploring deeper. It's from a Substack of Dave Rayboy, I believe it's pronounced. Rayboy. It's very well written and very well done. As you can see from the picture here, I put an X or a circle where I live in upstate New York, just above the PA border, and where I want to go in Tennessee, which is my goal. And it's proven to be much more difficult than I had thought. I have family here, an elderly mother, plus I own property, a house I live in, so it's not so easy to just get up and leave. But I'm doing my best to try for that goal. Not because I think we're going to be divided, which we are. I've been down there. It's in central Tennessee. It's a lot freer. I'm going to be straight. The people are a lot nicer. I'm not going to go as far as say people are better, because there's some really good people where I live up here in Binghamton. And I'm a former local elected official. I used to be on city council in the early 2000s as a Democrat, now Republican, left in 2013. But this is a very interesting article. Let's read on. For the last several years, I've been among a handful of commentators, along with good friends Michael Mills, Jesse Kelly, Mike Natton, and others, talking about the possibility or desirability of a national divorce. The political separation of blue and red America, or to get more specific and inflammatory, the breakup or dissolution of the United States. I think, frankly, that the blue states should just leave. And the red states, the so-called red states, will remain in the United States. This week, my friend Carol Markovitz has written a typically thoughtful piece on the subject at the New York Post and concludes that as much as many people long for the kind of separation that would solve the many real problems of America's current dissolution, it's not a solution that's currently feasible. Currently is the key word. It's going in that direction, and I don't see anything stopping it. As willing to break up or divorce, even if we had a popular consensus for a national divorce in principle, there are all kinds of details and massive, very thorny problems, like who gets which territories, populations, industries, or nuclear weapons, that would cause tumultuous and potentially violent negotiations. All these points of contention are very real and shouldn't be dismissed out of hand. They're not going anywhere. The seriousness of these issues is a very daunting solution, are meant to prove that the breakup of the United States will always be an impossibility. But that's not right, and I agree. As all great civilizations, they eventually fall. When I say fall, I don't mean they destroy themselves. They do break up. But that's not right. National divorce or some other more tragic and chaotic outcome won't be impossible forever. And that's where I agree. Despite heaping dole-ups of patriotic propaganda, which immediately is essential to maintenance of the citizens' faith in the regime, one day the United States will end. That's true. History teaches us that regimes, like all human creations, rise and fall, and world best-riding empires fall harder, faster, and more surely than that. Admitting this is a possibility isn't as accurate as understanding as it is certainty. Yes, the timeline is hazy, but it is coming. And that's the thing. You ask any historian, what do you think the founding fathers would say today? And almost all of them, to the person, say the exact same thing. They all would be shocked that it lasted this long. It's the truth. And as one approaches the crisis, and contempt between American builds beyond what is currently imaginable, those thorny points of contention, therefore, enough to reduce national divorce to a laugh line, become real objects of debate and deliberate thought. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing. If you want to stop the video, it's amazing that we are, headed this way. I think that says a lot about where we are. what time it is and how nearly all of us who follow political and social life here in America have a kind of understanding that there's no way back from our current disunion. I would like to think so, but I think he's right. There is no way back. It's like your wife turns to you and says, I want a divorce. There's no way back from that. None. And it's really scary. Or there might be small safety valves like presidential, congressional elections to temporarily alleviate some of the pressure and sense of impending conflict. The issues on which we disagree are too profound and foundational to ever just recede into the background. And he goes on to talk about some other things. It's amazing that we've gotten, maybe I think it's the internet maybe, that has really, really fueled this separation. Oh, it's amazing to me. Over the last decade especially, we've seen how these conceptions expand with great intensity and speed into areas where they were once relatively apolitical and would have perplexed our grandparents, like the reality of human biology or its malleability according to ideology via the trans issue. As time goes on, even more of reality itself will become a battleground. Yeah? Yep. It's, I'll be 65 next month in November, and I can't believe how far we've drifted apart. As you've seen from the beginning of this video, where I live in upstate New York and where I want to go now in Tennessee, I never had these strong, huge, strong urges to leave the hometown where I grew up in, where all my memories are, where my children were born in upstate New York. But I feel I don't have a choice anymore. And it's really sad. It's not ethnicity or religion that are two strong identity conceptions that have the power to unite people in smaller, less diverse states. Not patriotism emerging from a reverence of the nation's history and heroic founding story either. The left has worked with great zeal to undermine all of these things because it wants to unite Americans under nothing but its own ideology. And there is the problem. You're right. Conservative people, many independents will say, oh, go ahead, do your own thing. If you want to be a guy tomorrow, that's fine. If you want to be a girl tomorrow, that's fine. Nobody cares. That's not what the left does. The progressives not only want you to say that go ahead, do what you want to, they want to make you do what they want. And therein lies the rub. That's the disadvantage of being conservative, is you're more libertarian in thought, and you really won't go after the other side. The 1619 Project was only the most successful high-profile effort to undermine the legitimacy and, even more importantly, the virtue and goodness of American regime and its founding. It, among related cults like critical race theory, forms the political ethos that has thoroughly consumed blue America. Thoroughly consumed is exactly right. It's happened so quickly. And I think that's the internet. As the late Angelo Codevilla wrote, these differences amount to nothing more, nothing less than a cold civil war, and the primary role of the responsible statement is to prevent it from going hot. And I'm just going to go through here. I'll read this paragraph here. In a famous 1964 speech, Ronald Reagan said about the last century's Cold War, there's only one guarantee you can have peace, and you can have it in a second. Just surrender. This might be the unstated solution proffered by mainstream right commentators, but this is just the best we can do. And this is an extraordinary article. Absolutely extraordinary. Anatomy for Red America is of crucial importance, regardless of the status of political and real separation. It is the ability for Americans to be self-sufficient from the financial, education, and cultural institutions that are hostile to its beliefs and way of life. and make reconciliation increasingly impossible. I'll be honest with you, the right, conservative people like myself over the last half century, 50 years or so, have gone a little bit left. There's no question. But the progressives and the Democrats have gone so far left that they're just out of control. And they're not satisfied with, we're going to do things the way we want to as progressives, and you do the things you want to as conservatives. That's the way conservatives think. Live and let live. But the problem is, the progressives and the Democrats want everyone to think their way. And if you don't, we will destroy you. And that has been their mantra for decades. It's not enough. Live and let live is not even close to their idealism. Their ideology has to be pushed on everyone, no matter if they like it or not. And unless the progressives and the Democrats stop or slow it down dramatically, the divide is coming. Will it happen in my lifetime? I don't know. Maybe someday, hopefully soon, I'll have to leave upstate New York with sadness and move to central Tennessee, where I've been many times, where people live freer, they are kinder, they're just neighborly in general, live and let live, a chance to worship, carry 2A, your right to carry firearms. It's amazing to me. The communities are so much better down there. And the people, I'm going to come right out and say it, a lot of the people are better because they were brought up differently. And you can see it as I drove north and east when I came back from Tennessee. And it's sad, and I wish it wasn't true. But we'll see. I say this with a heavy heart. We'll see. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.